don't think about work. And just sort of taking that break gets me refreshed, gets me, out of, especially if I'm stuck. I do martial arts, and my teacher, she would set an intention every year. And so I started doing that every year. And one year I decided that my intention would be connection. I can make 15 minutes, I can make a half an hour, and let's talk and let's meet and let's see if there's anything there. And that, I love that.
So I'm really very interested in hearing what I think is the direction from everyone else. And that's kind of like, what did I want to say? They're miniature recovering routines, things that you can do during the day, those tiny meditations, you know? I think I heard Tim, Paige, and Johanna each mention one. I'd like to hear more.
Let's start with Johanna.
I'm not, so I think, so let me, I'm a little surprised by that because I did not think I mentioned a routine, but I do have several routines. I always write first thing in the morning. I always focus that writing on on the thing I want to finish. I always take at least 2 walks during the day because I am, well, I only walk with a rollator now. I find that if I don't move, I get stuck in my head and my body, and being physically resilient also helps tremendously with my emotional resilience. Um, and and I always read just before I go to bed. And all of those, now I might, until you actually prompted me, I didn't realize I did all of these things. I'm an extrovert. None of you are surprised. So I have no idea what I'm doing until I actually say it. Yeah. Thank you, Paige, for nodding along with me. But I find that this is all of my little routines, and I can adapt all of my routines. Right, I change the amount of walk, I change what I read, I change what I write. But the fact that I have all of these little routines make me much more resilient in the large, right? For maintaining a healthy life in all aspects.
Thank you. Paige, tell us more about your reset routines.
Yeah. As Johanna was saying, she didn't really think about the routines. When you started asking her, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to say? I have to think about what I do. But I do have several, right? When I'm writing code, or honestly, when I'm doing most of my work, um, it may be less strict when I'm not writing code, but I use like a Pomodoro type timer, right? And I make myself get up and walk out of the room or go look out the window, or we used to do this. We had rules like stand up if you can, don't look at your computer, look outside, go outside if you can, that sort of thing. Don't think about work. And just that, just sort of taking that break gets me refreshed, gets me out of, especially if I'm stuck, gets me out of that spot where I'm really stuck. And on a bigger scale, something that I started doing years ago, sort of mirroring, I do martial arts, and my teacher, she would set an intention every year. And so I started doing that every year. And one year I decided that my intention would be connection. And it meant something different in the dojo. But and I still do this, whenever someone says, hey, that's interesting, I'd love to hear more about it. Or, we should grab a coffee or something, any sort of reaching out for any sort of connection, I'm like, yes, let's do it. Right? It doesn't matter. Okay, I can make 15 minutes, I can make a half an hour, and let's talk and let's meet and let's see if there's anything there. And that, I love that. And I do that. Well, here I am, but I do that a lot because I think it's really important. It makes me a better person. And I hope it makes the person I'm talking to better. And
From the little bit I've had with you so far, I would say it probably always does.